Tonight, we leave behind the noise of the present and step quietly into the world of forgotten castles. Across the hills of ancient Europe, countless stone strongholds remain silent, still, and softened by time. No longer bastions of power. They sit beneath weathered skies, half claimed by ivy and moss, blending into the earth they once ruled over. Their stories haven't vanished. They have simply quieted, waiting patiently for anyone willing to listen. As you let your body relax, your muscles soften, and the day's weight drift away, imagine yourself standing at the edge of one such forgotten castle. The path to it is overgrown, a narrow line through tall grass, the wind whispering gently all around. The sky is calm, a soft blue melting into the purple of dusk. You walk steadily, unhurried, every step carrying you further from the clamor of modern life and deeper into the embrace of history before you. Towering above the wild brush and leaning oaks rises the gatehouse. Its stone blocks are pockmarked from centuries of wind and rain, edges worn smooth like river stones. The iron hinges that once screamed in protest now stand motionless, but in your quiet steps, the gates seem to stir. Heavy wooden doors, thick as the trunks of ancient trees, sit half open, inviting you in not to battle, but to peaceful exploration. Crossing through the gatehouse feels like stepping into a forgotten memory. The courtyard inside, once alive with the sounds of hoofbeats, marching boots, and busy chatter, now lies in a peaceful hush. The packed earth beneath your feet is soft, disturbed only by the gentle caress of the wind and the occasional chirp of distant birds settling in for the night to your left. The remnants of the old stables lean tiredly against one corner of the outer wall. The roof has long since given way, letting shafts of the evening light pierce through gaps where thatch and timber once kept out the rain. You can almost imagine the bustling mornings when stable boys rushed to saddle horses, when the scent of hay mixed with fresh leather, and the warm bodies of horses steamed against the cold air. Now, only the soft murmur of wind passes through, touching the bones of the past with delicate fingers. Opposite, along the far wall, the barracks rest in peaceful ruin. The outlines of the rooms remain, low walls, half swallowed by creeping ivy and wildflowers. Once, these rooms echoed with laughter, groaning wood, and the clang of iron buckles. Men sat around crackling fires, trading tales of distant lands, grumbling about duties, and dreaming of distant fortunes. Here, today, there is only quiet, the kind of quiet that settles like a blanket, comforting and timeless. Ahead of you stands the keep, the heart of the castle. Its walls rise proudly, not with the sharp lines of their youth, but with the softened strength of survival. The stone bears scars, scorch marks from forgotten sieges, carvings from idle hands, and chips from accidents or ancient anger, but it endures. The doorway stands wide, not to threaten or command, but to offer shelter and curiosity. Before you step inside, you turn toward a narrow archway tucked beside the outer courtyard. Through it, you find yourself in what was once the bustling kitchen. Courtyard. Stone ovens rise like forgotten mouths along the walls, wide and empty, their interiors blackened by countless fires. Iron hooks hang from beams overhead, now swaying gently in the breeze. Here, the scents of roasted meat and baked bread would have filled the air, blending with the clatter of pots and the chatter of cooks exchanging recipes and gossip in equal measure. Imagine the warm glow of firelight spilling out into the darkened courtyard, the distant laughter of children playing just beyond the walls, and the sleepy grumble of dogs waiting for scraps. Every detail lingers in the air, softened by the passing of time but still vivid enough to sense. The kitchens were more than a place of cooking. They were the warm pulse of the castle, a refuge from the harsh world beyond. You linger there for a moment, letting the imagined warmth settle into your bones before turning back toward the towering keep. Your footsteps make little sound as you ascend the broad steps to its entrance. Inside, the atmosphere changes. The cool air meets your skin, the walls thicken around you, and the flickering light of imagined torches guides your way forward. The main hall opens like a great cavern. Stone pillars rise to meet wooden beams, high above, where cobwebs now rule. A massive hearth dominates the far end of the room, its chimney stretching upward like a silent sentinel. Above it, faded remnants of a noble crest cling to the plaster, a symbol of a lineage that once commanded. loyalty, but is now whispered only in forgotten genealogies. Wooden benches line the long banquet table, their surfaces scarred by knives, tankards, and countless celebrations. Once, lords and ladies gathered here in feasts that lasted through the night. Goblets raised, songs soaring beneath the vaulted ceiling. The echoes of those nights still linger, woven into the very stonework, humming softly beneath the quiet that now prevails. You wander slowly through the hall, fingertips grazing the smooth wood of the chairbacks, feeling the subtle bumps and ridges that once belonged to living hands. Every step is unhurried, every breath deep and soothing. There is no rush in this forgotten place, only the gentle pace of memory. Beyond the hall, your path winds upwards. A narrow stone staircase, spiraling tightly, coils its way toward the upper chambers. The steps are uneven, carved more by footsteps than by design, their centers worn smooth from generations of ascent and descent. The walls are close here, the light dimmer, but the atmosphere remains soft and welcoming. At the top, a small wooden door waits, its iron latch cool beneath your hand. The door yields easily, revealing the Lord's private chamber. Modest in size but rich in the quiet dignity of old age, the room still holds on to its shape. A grand bed frame, simple but sturdy, sits near one wall, its faded draperies stirring slightly in the breeze that slips through the cracked shutters. A writing desk stands before a narrow window, the surface covered in the soft dust of forgotten years. Faint impressions of ink spills stain the wood, and you can picture letters once written, their letters of trade, orders to soldiers, quiet notes of affection never delivered, and records of daily life that mattered deeply to those who lived it. From the window, your gaze stretches out beyond the castle walls. The land unfolds in gentle hills, patches of wild forest, and the occasional glint of distant rivers. In its prime, the castle overlooked busy fields, farmlands bustling with serfs and workers. Now, nature has reclaimed much of it, turning orderly rows into wildflower meadows and quiet groves. Standing there, with the soft wind brushing past your cheeks, the world feels distant, slowed, and beautifully the struggles and triumphs, the arguments and celebrations all have drifted into a gentle hush, leaving only the comfort of stillness. You leave the chamber and climb a final stairway, narrower still, up to the battlements. The open air greets you again, cool and fresh. The high walls stretch out in both directions, offering a slow, peaceful walk beneath the open sky. Stone merlins stand like silent guardians along the parapet, their rough edges outlined against the softening colors of twilight here. Soldiers once paced in endless shifts, eyes sharp for bandits or wandering strangers. Young squires practiced sword drills in the open air. Old knights rested their elbows on the stone, gazing across the land, remembering campaigns long past. Tonight, their stories drift away in the wind, leaving you with the rhythmic sound of your own footsteps and the distant calls of nightbirds. You follow the battlements around the keep, each step settling you deeper into tranquility. In every direction, the land rests in a peaceful sprawl. Villages have vanished, farms have faded, but the hills remain, patient and unchanged. Watching silently through time, eventually, your walk circles back to the inner courtyard. The sky has deepened, stars beginning to peek through the velvet darkness overhead. The castle stands quiet and proud, worn but enduring. The great halls, the sleeping chambers, the kitchens and walls, they have shown you their stories, whispered, in the hush of crumbling stone and timeless air. And yet, as your steps slow near the old well at the heart of the courtyard, something draws your attention, a worn stone path, partially hidden beneath years of dirt and moss, leading away from the main keep. It slopes gently downward, toward a low, arched entrance built into the side of the hill, beneath the castle foundations. The air grows cooler as you approach, the breeze quieter. The doorway stands half open, heavy with age, but still inviting. Beyond it lies the world beneath the castle, the cellars, the storage vaults, perhaps even forgotten tunnels winding deeper than most dared to explore. You step toward the darkened entrance, feeling not fear but calm curiosity. The castle has given you its warmth, its grand halls, and peaceful towers. Now it offers you its hidden depths, a place where forgotten treasures sleep, where whispered secrets linger, where the pulse of history beats slower, deeper, and quieter. And as you pause at the entrance, taking one last deep, slow breath of the evening air, the stones seem to hum softly beneath your feet, encouraging you onward. Beneath the castle, deeper stories await. Shadows filled with memory, chambers untouched by light, pathways leading back through time. When next you return, we will step into that quiet darkness together and follow the gentle pull of the earth itself, discovering what lies hidden beneath ancient stone. The door beneath the castle stood quiet, half forgotten, sagging slightly on iron hinges dulled by time. As you stand before it, the last hints of twilight gather along the horizon, fading gently into the hush of night. You take one slow step forward, then another, and the coolness of the earth seems to rise and meet you, inviting, patient, and still. With the gentlest push, the heavy door shifts open, groaning softly in protest, as if it had not felt the presence of a living hand for 100 years or more. The scent of cool, untouched air greets you not stale, but heavy with earth and stone, a quiet reminder of the world resting beneath your feet. You cross the threshold, letting your fingers brush the damp stone walls, feeling the delicate roughness where water has traced patterns for centuries. Inside, the passageway leads downward in a gentle, spiraling slope, wide enough for two to walk abreast, though now only you descend. The walls close in slightly, but not oppressively. They cradle you, shielding you from the noise of the outside world, guiding you gently into deeper quiet. Your footsteps echo faintly, muffled by the old dust carpeting the ground in a soft, soundless blanket. Small alcoves line the walls as you move forward, each marked by low arches. Within them, the shapes of ancient storage vessels rest, some intact, some broken, their edges softened by age. Once, these cellars brimmed with meats, barrels of ale, baskets of dried fruit, crates of grain prepared for the long winters. Now, they are hollow, holding only echoes and gentle drafts that stir the cobwebs. You pause beside one, peering through the shifting shadows. A broken wine cask leans against the far wall, its iron bands rusted into crumbling ribbons. You imagine the life that once surrounded it, workers rolling barrels in by torchlight, scribes marking inventories on faded parchments, cooks bustling through to gather ingredients for feasts in the grand hall above. The corridor continues, dipping lower, the air cooler, but never cold. You follow its lazy curves, each step drawing you deeper into forgotten spaces. The rhythm of your breathing grows calmer, your mind quieting further with every echoing footstep. The walls become smoother here, worked by careful hands long ago. Tiny shells embedded in the stone catch the glint of your torchlight, reminders of an ancient sea that existed long before any castle stood here. Ahead, a large chamber opens, broad and round, its ceiling lost in the shadows above. This is the main vaulta place where the castle stored its most precious resources. The remnants of wooden shelves rise like skeletal fingers toward the high roof, now bare but dignified. You walk slowly among them, your hand trailing along the ridges of the old wood, feeling its softened strength, its quiet endurance. In one corner, you discover a pile of shattered crates, their fragments scattered among a bed of dust. Tiny glass bottles lie nestled among them, many still whole, their contents long evaporated, but their delicate craftsmanship surviving. You kneel for a moment, fingertips tracing the faded patterns etched into the glassivine motif. A ring of ivy leaves, a forgotten artisan's quiet flourish. Standing once more, you continue your journey, finding a narrow passage branching from the vault's far side. This one slopes steeper, leading downward into the heart of the hill upon which the castle stands. The air here carries a deeper stillness, thicker with the weight of untouched centuries. The stones beneath your feet feel cooler, worn smoother, by the passing of countless feet that once walked this way, servants' guards, perhaps even nobles descending for private reasons unknown to history. The walls narrow, the light dimmer, but the passage remains steady, leading you without rush, without demand. You reach another chamber, smaller than the last, but more ornate. Carvings run along the walls, worn but visible shields, swords, floral motifs, curling. Around the corners, fragments of family crests. You are standing in the old armory. Here, Weapon racks once stood bristling with spears, swords, and shields. Now only their shadows remain, impressions in the dust, where metal once gleamed under torchlight. A single shield hangs upon the far wall. Its surface dulled, but its emblem faintly visible, a rearing stag beneath a crescent moon. You wonder at the hands that crafted it, the arms that carried it, the battles it may have seen, and the quiet years it has spent undisturbed. Watching the centuries pass in silence, in the far corner of the armory, a narrow stairwell descends further. Each step is cut carefully, worn uneven by time, but still sturdy beneath your feet. You descend slowly, unhurried, listening to the soft rhythm of your breath. The subtle thrum of the castle's foundation embracing you on all sides. The stairway opens into a long, low tunnel. This passage is different, less polished, carved, quickly, more practical than decorative. You realize it was a servant's path, used by those who moved unseen beneath the castle, carrying supplies, tending fires, avoiding the gaze of nobles above. Here, the stones feel warmer, the air heavier, as if the memories of countless unseen lives linger quietly in the walls. You follow the tunnel as it curves gently left and right, your hand trailing lightly along the stone, feeling its steady presence beneath your fingers. Occasional wooden supports rise from the ground, their surfaces worn smooth from countless brushes of passing shoulders. Above you, the castle sleeps, unaware of your silent exploration. A subtle breeze touches your face, carrying the faintest scent of fresh air. The tunnel is leading you outward, beneath the thick outer walls, toward a hidden exit once used by the castle's servants, and, perhaps, by those seeking discreet escape in desperate times. You move forward, guided by the gentle airflow, your steps slow and steady. Soon, the tunnel broadens, the air grows fresher, and the darkness softens into the pale gray of early night. You find yourself at the tunnel's end, standing beneath a low arch carved into the side of the hill. Before you stretches a secluded glade, hidden from the world by a ring of ancient trees whose branches sway gently beneath the blanket of stars. Above, you step into the open air, your lungs filling with the crispness of the night, your senses soothed by the quiet hush of the woods. Here, beneath the protective curve of the hill, the castle's secrets spill softly into the earth. To your left, a narrow stream trickles through the underbrush, its waters singing a gentle song as it dances over smooth stones. To your right, a worn path climbs the hillside, likely leading to forgotten watchposts perched upon the ridge. For a long, quiet moment, you remain still, feeling the pulse of the land beneath your feet, the timeless breath of the forest brushing softly through the leaves above. The castle, once a symbol of power and pride, now rests as part of the earth. Its bones nestled beneath layers of soil and root, its stories woven into the gentle rhythm of nature. You take the narrow path, feet moving instinctively now, guided by the quiet pull of curiosity. The path winds upward in a slow, comforting incline, the trees parting just enough to reveal glimpses of the castle behind you, its towers rising like weathered fingers toward the sky, its walls softened by distance, transformed from fortifications into silhouettes of history, reaching a small rise. You find a stone outcrop where once a watchman stood, keeping vigil over the land. The stones are warm beneath your hand, the view broad and peaceful. From here, the castle is visible in its entirety, the stronghold and courtyard, the keep and battlements, the small village that once clustered at its base, now reduced to crumbled walls embraced by wildflowers. You settle there, letting your gaze drift across the landscape. The hills roll softly into the distance, the forest murmurs beneath the night sky, and somewhere far away, a single owl calls, its sound echoing faintly across the valley. The world feels vast and calm, its worries distant, its pace slowed too. The gentle rhythm of forgotten ages. Behind you, the stars deepen, scattering their light across the heavens. The castle rests quietly, its ancient stones sheltering the weight of countless years. Beneath its walls, beneath the earth, chambers remain unexplored. Corridors wind deeper, secrets lie patiently, waiting for gentle footsteps to return and listen. The breeze shifts slightly, carrying with it the soft rustle of leaves, the gentle hush of night settling over the valley. You rise from the stone outcrop, feet light upon the earth, spirit calm, heart steady. The path continues along the ridge, curving lazily back toward the castle's northern flank, where ancient gardens once bloomed in carefully tended rows, where stone fountains once whispered, and marble statues watched in timeless serenity. Without hurry, you begin your walk toward the northern side, ready to wander through the overgrown remnants of the castle's forgotten gardens, to listen to the quiet murmur of water, to follow the traces of life that once thrived in the sheltered courtyards and secret groves. Each step promises calm discovery. Each breath draws you deeper into tranquility. The castle is not finished with you yet. Its forgotten places reach outward, inviting you gently onward, toward crumbling arbors, hidden grottos, and the soft rhythm of history resting beneath the stars. The path beneath your feet shifts as you move along the ridge, the gentle crunch of gravel blending with the soft hum of crickets hidden within the undergrowth. The air is sweeter here, carrying the faintest trace of old blossoms and distant water. You feel the quiet pull of the castle's northern gardens, their forgotten beauty lingering in the night's embrace. You follow the winding track, its edges softened by wild grasses and tiny white flowers that sway gently in the moon's silver glow. Far below, the castle's towers rest against the hillside like sleeping giants, their outlines softened by distance, their watchful eyes now blind to the world. Here, away from the weight of stone walls and silent corridors, the earth feels lighter, freer, alive in its quiet slumber. The ridge bends gradually, leading you downward once more, the slope gentle beneath your feet. Branches arch overhead, forming a delicate canopy of leaves that shimmer softly in the breeze. A rusted iron gate emerges ahead, its frame leaning slightly, its bars intertwined with ivy that curls like ancient fingers gripping tightly. Beyond the gate, a garden unfolds, half wild, half forgotten, fully enchanted beneath the moon's watchful eye. You push the gate open, the hinges sighing with the effort, and step within. The path beneath you shifts to smooth stone, broken in places, but still tracing a graceful route through the garden's heart. To your left, a low fountain stands, its basin cracked but dignified, water trickling from a weathered lion's mouth into a shallow pool covered with a thin film of moss and thyme. You move closer, leaning slightly to hear the water's quiet murmur, the soft echo of its fall against the worn stone. Once it would have sung joyfully in the sunlight, surrounded by the laughter of courtiers and the soft conversation of strolling nobles. Now it whispers gently in the stillness, telling only the moon and the stars of the days that have passed. The garden stretches outward, paths winding like gentle rivers through clusters of overgrown hedges and flower beds, overtaken by wild blooms. Roses, long untamed, climb broken trellises, their petals glowing softly in the moonlight. Lavender grows in chaotic bursts, its fragrance sweet and calming, drifting through the air like the echo of old perfume worn by unseen figures who once graced these paths. Your footsteps fall softly upon the stones, each step guiding you deeper into the heart of the forgotten garden. Marble benches, chipped but proud, sit beneath bowing trees, their surfaces warmed by the night's lingering air. You pause beside one, brushing away the dust with your hand, feeling the cool smoothness of the stone beneath your fingertips. A small alcove opens to your right, ringed with tall hedges whose centers have hollowed out to form a hidden space. Inside, a statue stands, cloaked in vines, her face turned upward toward the stars. You step within the alcove, feeling the closeness of the hedges, the hush of the space pressing gently against you like a cradle of time. The statue's features, though softened by weather and age, still hold a quiet serenity, a glimpse of the artist's hand reaching across centuries. Your gaze traces the flowing folds of her gown, the outstretched hand holding what was once a stone dove, now eroded to little more than a suggestion. You wonder who she was meant to represent: a goddess, a queen, or simply beauty personified, left here to watch over the blooms that once thrived beneath her gaze. Beyond the alcove, the path curls toward the old orchard, its trees now grown wild, their branches heavy with untamed fruit. Apples hang in clusters, some fallen upon the earth where small creatures rustle through the grass, enjoying their midnight feast. You reach out and pluck a single apple, feeling its cool smoothness in your hand before pressing it gently to your lips. The skin is tart, the flesh crisp, a simple, honest flavor untouched by human hand, a gift from the enduring trees. Moving onward, you pass beneath arches formed by intertwining branches, their leaves whispering softly above you, welcoming you into their shelter. Stone lanterns line the path here, their hollow centers once filled with dancing candlelight. Now they rest empty, but their shapes still carry the memory of warm evenings, of footsteps in the dusk, of stolen moments beneath the stars. You follow the gentle incline as the garden rises toward a terrace, its stone balustrades crumbling but still tracing the elegant lines of forgotten grandeur. From this higher vantage, you gaze out upon the sleeping castle, its shape familiar now, comforting in its solitude. Beyond it, the valley stretches into darkness, the hills rolling gently, their edges softened by the night's quiet embrace. A breeze stirs, lifting strands of your hair, carrying with it the subtle scent of mint and sage growing wild between the cracks of the stone. You breathe deeply, letting the crispness settle within you, easing your thoughts, calming your heart. Turning, you step onto the terrace, your footsteps ringing softly against the ancient stones. In the center stands a round platform, its tiles arranged in a faded mosaic, depicting scenes too worn to decipher fully. Bits of color remain deep, blue, soft gold, muted crimson hints of artistry that once dazzled in the sunlight. At the terrace's edge, a staircase leads downward, narrow and winding, its stones worn smooth by countless feet long since vanished. You descend slowly, one step at a time, letting your hand glide along the low wall beside you. The staircase leads into a lower garden, hidden beneath the terrace's shadow, where the air feels cooler, the world quieter still. This was the private retreat, reserved for moments of reflection, for whispered conversation, for solitary walks, away from the watchful eyes of the court. Here, the pathways are narrower, the spaces more intimate, the plant life pressing closer, embracing every inch of available ground. A narrow stream winds through the garden's edge, its waters glistening softly in the moonlight. You follow its course, your footsteps silent upon the moss-covered stones, the trickling water the only sound to accompany you. Small stone bridges cross the stream at intervals, their surfaces curved gently, inviting you to pause, to lean upon their low walls, to watch the water slip quietly beneath you. You stop upon one such bridge, letting your hands rest against the cool stone, your eyes following the silver ribbon of water as it disappears into the shadows. Above, the stars shift lazily in the sky, their reflections dancing softly upon the water's surface, their presence timeless and unhurried. Continuing, you find yourself at the garden's far edge, where the land rises gently toward a secluded clearing. Here a single oak tree stands tall, its trunk wide and strong, its branches reaching outward like ancient arms embracing the sky. Beneath its boughs, a circle of stone seats forms a quiet council, their surfaces worn smooth by generations of use. You step within the circle, settling upon one of the seats, feeling the solidness beneath you, the grounding presence of stone and earth. Above, the leaves whisper, sharing their secrets with the wind, their voices low and comforting. The castle rests behind you, the world stretches silently beyond, and here in this hidden corner of the gardens, you feel the slow, steady rhythm of forgotten time. Moments pass, soft and unmeasured, each breath deepening your calm, each heartbeat slowing in quiet harmony with the night around you. The garden holds you gently, its wild beauty wrapping around you like a soft cloak, its ancient life pulsing quietly beneath your feet. Eventually, you rise once more, your movements unhurried, your spirit steady. The path continues beyond the clearing, leading toward a broken gate that opens to the castle's western slope, where terraced vineyards once sprawled in neat rows, their fruits turned to rich wines poured in grand halls. Now empty, you follow the path, letting the gentle incline guide you upward, the scent of crushed herbs rising with each step, the cool night air brushing softly against your skin. The castle waits, its western walls leaning against the hillside, their stones worn but enduring, their silhouette a patient sentinel beneath the stars. As you approach the old vineyard terraces, the ground shifts beneath your feet, transitioning from soft earth to the crisp crunch of gravel and broken tile. Rows of grapevines, now wild and tangled, rise on either side of you, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. their branches heavy with forgotten clusters. You reach out, fingers, brushing the leaves, feeling their velvety texture, their quiet resilience. The vineyard, though untended, thrives in its own rhythm, embracing the freedom of untamed growth, carrying within it the memory of careful hands, of harvest songs, of laughter echoing through the hills. At the vineyard's highest point, a low stone wall marks the edge of the terrace. You lean against it, gazing out across the valley, the castle to your right, the hills sprawling endlessly ahead. The sky deepens, stars brightening in their celestial dance, the moon casting a soft glow over the land. You stand there, unmoving, breathing deeply, feeling the quiet strength of the earth beneath you, the timeless beauty of the night surrounding you. The castle's story continues, whispered through its stones, sung by its gardens, dreamed beneath its towers. There are more places, waiting hidden staircases, lost corridors, sealed chambers beneath the keep, their secrets undisturbed, their tales eager to be rediscovered. You sense their quiet invitation, feel the gentle pull of curiosity urging you onward. With the calm certainty of the night at your back, you step away from the terrace, turning toward the narrow path that leads back toward the inner walls. Each step carries you deeper into the castle's embrace, toward the sleeping heart of the ancient fortress, where the stones wait silently, patiently, ready to reveal the next chapter of their quiet, enduring story. Your steps return to the inner walls, the path narrowing between ivy-clad stones, the way ahead folding into the sleeping bulk of the castle's western flank. The moon lingers above, silver light trailing along the mossy stones, and the wind hums softly in the quiet spaces between the walls. Each step is easy, smooth, your breath slow and steady, carried by the stillness of the night. The corridor you follow was once grand, though time has pressed it low, beneath sagging beams and walls that lean gently inward, like old friends huddled close. The stone floor beneath your feet is uneven, smoothed by centuries of footsteps, but cracked in places where roots have found their way inside. Faint remnants of old wall hangings cling to the stone-tattered banners, whose colors have long since faded, their stories now whispered in the dust. Your hand trails along the left wall, fingertips grazing the cool surface, feeling the gentle rise and fall of carved patterns worn nearly flat by time. A small wooden door appears ahead, half hidden, beneath an arch of crumbling brick. Its handle, iron and worn, gives way easily as you press it, and the door creaks open into a forgotten chamber inside. The air is cooler, thick with the scent of ancient timber and undisturbed air. Shafts of moonlight slip through broken shutters, casting soft stripes across the wooden floorboards. Shelves line the walls, some collapsed beneath the weight of forgotten belongings. Others, still standing stubbornly, cradling fragments of a life once lived in quiet corners. You step inside, the door easing closed behind you, the chamber embracing you with its gentle hush. Dust dances in the pale light, swirling softly with every breath, every movement. You let your gaze wander across the room. There are old books with broken spines resting quietly on sagging shelves, cracked pottery sitting patient and still, and a small writing desk tucked beneath a shuttered window. Crossing the room, you lift a book from the shelf, its cover flaking away beneath your touch, revealing pages filled with looping handwriting, stories and records of lives long past. You set it gently down, careful not to disturb the fragile script, and move toward the desk, where a collection of letters lies scattered in untidy heaps, their wax seals broken, their ink faded, but still legible under the moon's patient light. One letter remains unopened, tucked beneath a small wooden box, its seal still intact, its edges curled with age. You turn it over in your hands, feeling the texture of the paper, wondering at the message that remains unread, the words that never reached their destination. There is something tender in this forgotten communication, something profoundly human resting quietly in the shadows of stone, beyond the desk. Another door waits low, arched its frame crooked with age. You move toward it, your footsteps quiet, your movements slow, and ease it open. A narrow spiral staircase winds downward into the earth, its steps carved from ancient stone, edges worn smooth, the curve disappearing into gentle darkness below. You step onto the staircase, descending slowly, one step at a time, feeling the air grow cooler, The hush deepen around you. The castle's heart lies beneath its walls, beneath the echoes of grand halls and forgotten chambers, in hidden tunnels and secret passages, where only the wind has wandered in recent memory. The steps lead to a low corridor. Its walls close, its ceiling brushing just above your head. Lantern hooks cling to the stone at intervals, their iron frames rusted but still hanging steady. You follow the corridor, guided by the faintest glimmers of moonlight filtering down through cracks above. Your path steady, your breathing slow. Along the left wall, you notice a narrow break in the stone, a seam where the masonry shifts slightly, imperfect after centuries of settling. You press your hand against it, fingers searching for the hidden mechanism you sense beneath the surface. A faint click responds beneath your palm, and the wall shifts inward with a quiet sigh. The hidden door opens, revealing a small chamber beyond. Low and narrow, its walls lined with shelves and cubbies. Forgotten objects linger here, rusted keys, in bundles, scrolls with broken seals, and small trinkets of carved bone and wood. You step inside, feeling the gentle hush of the space around you. A long wooden box rests on a central shelf, its surface engraved with delicate patterns worn, soft with age. You lift the lid slowly, revealing within a collection of ancient maps, their edges curled and ink-faded, but the outlines of kingdoms, rivers, and mountain ranges still visible beneath the layers of time. You trace your fingers along their surfaces, wondering at the places they once guided their owners to, the journeys embarked upon, the adventures whispered beneath starry skies. From the hidden chamber, the corridor bends sharply, the air shifting with the sound of distant water. You follow the bend, your footsteps hushed, and emerge into a low hall where the walls glisten faintly with moisture, where the sound of an underground stream whispers nearby. Along the right side, an open arch leads to a shallow cavern, its ceiling high and domed, its floor uneven and worn. You step inside, feeling the natural hush of the cavern wrap around you, feeling the cool air rise from the stream that winds quietly through the stone. Along the walls, patches of lichen glow faintly, casting a soft green light across the rough surfaces. An ancient bench, carved from solid stone, sits beside the stream's edge, its surface smooth from the countless souls who once rested there. You sit, feeling the steadiness of the rock beneath you, the rhythm of the water flowing gently nearby, the hush of the castle's bones pressing in from every side. The world beyond these walls feels distant, softened by the layers of earth, by the weight of history settled above. In the quiet, you listen not for voices, not for footsteps, but for the language of stone and water, for the slow breathing of a castle dreaming beneath the stars. The stream's soft murmur answers, blending with the distant sigh of wind through hidden cracks, with the faint creak of wood shifting gently in the night air. You remain still, content within this moment, within the quiet heart of the fortress where time lingers softly, where the rush of the outside world holds no sway. Here, beneath walls once crowded with life, you find calm, solitude, and the gentle company of the past. After some time, you rise again, moving quietly along the cavern's edge, following the stream's course as it leads back toward the castle's foundations. The passage narrows, walls closing in, the path rising gently once more toward the surface. You emerge into a forgotten antechamber, where broken statues line the walls and an ancient hearth rests cold and empty at the far end. Faded tapestries cling to the stone, their patterns faint but their presence still proud, reminders of a life that once thrived within these walls. From the antechamber, a wide archway leads back to the central halls, where grand staircases rise, in elegant curves, their banisters worn smooth by time, their steps echoing softly beneath your feet. You ascend slowly, letting your hands trail along the banisters, your gaze tracing the vaulted ceilings far above where carved figures seem to watch in quiet approval. The great hall opens before you, vast and silent, its high windows broken but still catching the moonlight, casting soft patterns across the flagstone floor. Here, the castle's heart once beat loudest, filled with the voices of courtiers and the laughter of feasts, with the music of lutes and the clatter of goblets raised in celebration. Now, it rests in gentle slumber, its walls echoing only the quiet steps of your passage, the soft sigh of wind moving through empty spaces. You cross the hall, your footsteps steady, your breathing calm, feeling the history pressed into every stone, feeling the weight of countless stories lingering in the still air. At the far end of the hall, a grand staircase rises wide and inviting, its steps leading upward, toward the castle's upper chambers, toward rooms where secrets still sleep, where ancient doors remain closed. Waiting patiently for the touch of your hand, you ascend, your pace unhurried, your heart steady, your spirit cradled by the castle's embrace. The upper halls stretch. Before you, their floors littered with fragments of fallen ceilings, their walls bowed beneath the quiet pressure of years gone by. But there is beauty here, in the silence, in the endurance of stone, in the whisper of history that flows through every corridor. You pause before a tall door at the end of the hallway. Its wood, darkened with age, its hinges quiet beneath your touch. You press gently, feeling it yield, feeling it open to reveal the next forgotten chamber, the next quiet story waiting to be heard. The journey continues, steady and calm, each step carrying you deeper into the castle's quiet heart, each chamber unfolding beneath your fingertips, each shadow holding the gentle breath of history waiting, patient and timeless. And as the moon continues its slow climb across the sky, as the stars shift in their silent rhythm, you walk forward, embraced by the forgotten castle, by its quiet walls and its gentle hush, following its stories through the soft, endless night. The tall door eases closed behind you with a softened click, and ahead the chamber unfolds beneath the muted glow of a cloud-veiled moon. You step forward, slow and measured, feeling the gentle creak of aged floorboards beneath your boots, the soft exhale of wind pressing through cracks in the weathered stone. The walls here still stand tall, lined with faded wooden beams that have bowed quietly under centuries of weight, yet endure in their timeless vigil. This room, perhaps once a study or a private retreat, now breathes only silence. You trail your fingers across the wooden panels, the smooth grain worn dull by the passage of hands long vanished. Along the edges of the room, the remains of old chairs rest crookedly, one leaning against the other like silent companions. A writing desk, its legs still sturdy, stands near a broken window where the curtains sway lazily in the breeze, fabric thin as cobwebs, fragile threads shimmering in the moonlight. You move to the window, placing your hand gently upon the crumbling ledge, gazing outward into the ink-dark countryside. Hills roll gently beyond the castle walls, their silhouettes softened beneath the slow-moving clouds. Far away, a river glistens faintly, its surface kissed by the same moonlight that trickles into this hollow place. The air tastes of rain waiting, in distant clouds of earth, cooling under the hush of midnight above. The remains of the tower spiral upward, stone steps clinging to the inside of the crumbling walls. You step away from the window, turning toward the narrow stairway that curves, tightly leading higher into the forgotten reaches of the castle. Your fingers find the rail, iron cool and rough beneath your skin, and you begin the quiet ascent, each step slow, each movement deliberate. The wind stirs softly in the upper heights, its breath pushing through the broken masonry, swirling around the tower like an old friend, tracing forgotten paths. The climb is steady, your pace unhurried, your breathing calm as you rise higher, leaving behind the warmth of the lower chambers. Stepping into the domain of the sky and the stars, one flight after another leads you upward, and with each turn of the stair, the walls grow narrower, the path steeper, the sense of quiet more profound. Time feels different here, slower, stretched thin between the stones, cradled in the cool air that circles the ancient tower. At last, you reach the landing, where the roof has long since fallen away, and the open sky reigns above. You step into the open tower top, wind curling around you, pressing lightly against your cloak, lifting your hair in soft wisps. From here, the view unfolds unbroken, the rolling countryside, the shadowy forests, the winding rivers, all lying silent beneath the pale sweep of the moon. You stand at the edge, hands resting upon the jagged remnants of the parapet, feeling the chill of the night air, the weightless freedom of the world stretching outward in every direction. The castle breathes beneath you, stone and shadow cradling your steps, its ancient heart beating softly in the silence. Turning slowly, you trace the edges of the tower with your gaze. Here, the walls curve around in a wide embrace, sheltering what remains of old weapon racks and crumbling stone benches. Spears, their shafts splintered, their points dulled by rust, rest forgotten against the wall. Shields hang crookedly, their painted emblems now ghosts of color. Their wood cracked and flaking. You take a slow step forward, your boots scuffing lightly across loose gravel and patches of moss that have claimed the stone. Near the center of the tower, a trapdoor remains, its hinges iron-strong, despite the years, its surface weathered but intact. You kneel beside it, fingertips pressing lightly against the wood, feeling the faint vibrations of wind moving through the cracks below. With gentle effort, you lift the trapdoor, revealing a narrow shaft leading to the inner workings of the tower. A ladder descends into the cool darkness, its wooden rungs smoothed by centuries of hands, by hurried climbs and secret descents. You lower yourself onto the ladder, descending slowly, each step deliberate, each breath deep and even. The chamber below is round, the walls curving smoothly around you, shelves carved into the stone lining the perimeter. Dust swirls in the air, disturbed only by your quiet presence. Upon the shelves, remnants of the castle's defenses lie in patient rest, bundles of arrows wrapped in rotting leather, coiled ropes dried and frayed, ancient horn cups cracked with age. In the center of the room, a large table rests beneath a heavy canvas cover, its edges weighted down with iron candlesticks, now filled with hardened wax. You move forward, brushing the dust away, lifting the canvas slowly to reveal a faded map etched into the wood, its surface worn, but its outlines still proud. Rivers, valleys, forests, and roads sprawl across the tabletop, a guide for commanders who have long since faded into memory. Your fingers trace the worn lines, following paths that once teemed with knights and traders, now hushed beneath centuries of silence. Along the table's edge, carved inscriptions mark distances, borders of forgotten realms, the movements of armies, whose banners now lie beneath the soil. The candlelight, faint and flickering, glances across the map's surface, casting, shifting, shadows that make the land seem to ripple beneath your touch. You stand quietly, absorbing the weight of this place, the echo of voices that once commanded from this room, the urgency that once pulsed through these walls, now softened into a gentle stillness. The wind sighs faintly through narrow slits in the stone, a timeless lullaby that fills the hollow spaces with soft, persistent song. Crossing to the far wall, you discover a narrow doorway set into the stone, partially obscured by a fallen timber. You shift it aside carefully, feeling the grain crumble beneath your fingers, and step through into a narrow corridor that curves downward in a slow spiral. The air grows cooler once more, carrying with it the faint scent of earth and stone, untouched and quiet. The steps lead to a small chamber nestled within the lower portion of the tower, a hidden storage room perhaps, or a place of refuge in distant storms. The walls here are thick, protective, lined with shelves that still hold the quiet remnants of simpler things. Ceramic jugs, glazed with pale colors. Baskets woven from reeds, their edges crumbling, but their shapes intact. In the corner, an ancient chest rests, its iron fittings rusted, its wood streaked with lines of age. You kneel before it, feeling the rough texture beneath your palm, lifting the lid with slow reverence. Inside, wrapped in fragments of cloth, lie simple treasures of life within the castle, a child's wooden toy, its edges smoothed by years of small fingers, a silver comb, its design delicate, a curling vine etched along its spine, a small book, bound in leather, its cover brittle, but its pages still embracing their forgotten words. You lift the book, cradling it carefully, flipping through the delicate pages where careful handwriting records the quiet moments of daily life, harvests and celebrations, births and quiet days spent within these ancient walls, a record not of war, not of power, but of people, of hearts that beat and smiled and hoped beneath the heavy stones. The words, though faded, bring warmth to the silent chamber, a quiet reminder that even in the grandest places, life is made up of small, tender moments, laughter shared over bread, stories whispered by firelight, songs hummed beneath the stars. You return the book to its resting place, closing the chest softly, letting it keep its secrets within the hush of the stone. The castle, for all its imposing towers and grand halls, for all its forgotten battles and lost banners, is a home to a shelter that once held simple joys, quiet comforts, and moments of peace. Rising, you make your way back through the narrow corridor, up the winding stairs, feeling the coolness give way once more to the gentle touch of the wind. The night air greets you as you step out onto the open rooftop, the clouds parting slightly to reveal a fuller moon, casting its soft light across the lands stretched beneath you. The castle rests quietly, its stones warmed by memories, its shadows softened by time. You stand at the edge once more, gazing out into the quiet world, letting your breath slow, your heart settle within the gentle rhythm of the ancient place. From high above, you can trace the outline of the outer walls, the gentle curves of the forgotten courtyards, the winding paths that lead to quiet chambers and secret spaces. The wind hums low, steady, carrying with it the stories that linger in the mortar, the voices that are never truly lost, only sleeping. You let your gaze wander one last time across the vastness of the land, the deep quiet of the valleys, the steady rise of the distant hills. The night holds no menace heronly calm, only the enduring strength of stone and the patient whisper of history. With a final glance to the stars, you turn back toward the stairs, your steps slow, your spirit steady. The castle waits to share more of its secrets, to reveal more of its quiet truths, hidden within the embrace of time. And so, with the soft rhythm of the wind at your back and the steady pulse of the ancient walls beneath your feet, you descend, once more, ready to wander deeper into the heart of forgotten places, where stories linger in the hush, waiting gently to be found. The air grows cooler as you descend, each step carrying you further from the silver-kissed rooftops and closer to the hushed depths below. The narrow stairs curve downward in smooth spirals, the walls pressing close on either side. Their rough stones cool beneath your trailing fingers. Your footsteps echo faintly in the enclosed space, the rhythm gentle, unhurried, like a heartbeat slowed beneath layers of ancient rock. As you step into the lower corridor, the world changes. The wind's song fades, replaced by a different kind of quiet, the deep silence of earth cradling stone, the hush of places untouched by light for countless years. You pause, letting your eyes adjust to the dim glow of your small lantern, its flame dancing softly, casting long shadows along the curved walls. Here, the castle's foundations lie strong and solid, their mortars sealed against the restless world above. You move forward, your boots brushing against the smooth flagstones, your hand guiding you along the cold walls. The corridor stretches ahead, leading you further into the belly of the old stronghold, into spaces where life once thrived and then slowly withdrew, leaving behind only the whispers of memory. Your path curves gently, leading to a set of broad stone doors, their surfaces carved with fading design spirals and shields, patterns of old heraldry softened by time. The handles are iron, dark with rust, their edges worn by the grip of hands long vanished. You press your palm against the cold metal, feeling the faint resistance of age before the doors ease open with a quiet groan. Beyond lies a wide hall, its ceiling arching high, supported by stout stone pillars that rise like ancient trees. There, surfaces etched with time's slow caress, dust motes swirl lazily in the air, glinting in the faint light, tracing slow circles as if dancing to a song no longer sung. The chamber holds the deep hush of forgotten purpose, the soft reverence of a place where footsteps have not echoed for many years. You step forward, your presence gentle, your movements respectful of the silence. Along the walls, alcoves nestle. Between the pillars, their shelves still holding the relics of distant ceramic jars sealed tight. Iron tools now dulled with rust, wooden crates their corners softened by age. Here, the castle's provisions once waited patiently, supplies for lean winters, for long sieges, for quiet seasons when the world outside grew wild. Crossing the hall, your footsteps soft against the ancient stone, you find yourself drawn to a narrow archway set into the far wall. The air drifting from beyond is cooler still, carrying with it a hint of damp earth and the faintest trace of something older, something slumbering, deep beneath the castle's weight. You pass through the archway, entering a low tunnel where the walls narrow, the ceiling descending just enough to wrap you in quiet protection. The stones here glisten faintly with moisture, the moss creeping along the edges in thin, delicate strands. Your lantern's glow reflects in tiny droplets that cling to the cracks, turning the tunnel into a corridor of quiet stars. The path slopes downward, steady and sure, leading you further into the depths where the foundations root themselves deep into the earth. The air grows heavier, but not oppressive, merely ancient, filled with the quiet stories of stone that has watched centuries pass by in patient silence. Soon, the tunnel widens, revealing another chamber, this one smaller, more personal, its ceiling lower, its walls closer. Along the sides, niches are carved into the rock, each holding sturdy chests bound in rusting iron, their lids marked by faded symbols. You approach one carefully, running your fingers over the old carving symbols of trade, of goods, carefully stored, perhaps for merchants long gone, perhaps for lords whose line has faded into the mist of history. Lifting the lid, you find within it bundles of old textiles, their colors muted, their patterns just barely visible beneath a thin veil of dust, threads woven by hands that once worked by the warmth of hearth fires, by the steady rhythm of loom and needle. You close the chest gently, letting its rest remain undisturbed. Moving deeper into the chamber, your lantern catches on a low doorway at the far end, half concealed by a fallen beam. You push it aside, the wood crumbling beneath your touch, and step through into a descending staircase, cut directly into the bedrock. Here, the stones are smoother, the passage more deliberate, an ancient route, leading not to supplies, but to secrets, to the oldest bones of the castle. With each step downward, the quiet deepens. The sound of your breath becomes the only rhythm, your heart steady beneath your ribs, your pace unchanging. At the bottom of the stairs, you find a stout iron gate, its bars wrapped in years of rust, its lock old but intact. There's no key, but the gate yields beneath your careful push, the hinges groaning softly before granting passage. Beyond, the chamber opens into a crypt, silent, solemn, yet peaceful. The air is cool, the stones smooth and well-fitted, the ground laid with careful precision. Along the walls, simple stone coffers rest, their lids carved with faint markings, names long forgotten, dates worn into nothingness, stories cradled forever within the walls of the earth. You walk among them slowly, lantern held low, your footsteps barely stirring the dust. Each coffer holds the quiet dignity of lives once lived, of warriors who stood guard on castle walls, of stewards who tended fields and hearths, of children who once laughed in courtyards, now silent. The weight of history settles softly upon your shoulders, not as a burden, but as a gentle cloak woven from the quiet threads of time. In the center of the crypt, a larger sarcophagus rests, its surface smoother, its carvings more elaborate, though worn by the steady touch of years. You run your hand along its edges, feeling the faint ridges of old symbol stories, of battles fought, of lands defended, of peaceful days tended. A knight, perhaps, or a lady of the castle, whose memory lingers within the cold embrace of the stone. You kneel for a moment beside it, head bowed slightly, breathing deeply of the cool, still air, feeling the calmness seep into your bones. This place holds no fear, no sorrow, only peace, only the enduring quiet that time bestows upon all things. Rising slowly, you turn back toward the staircase, your lantern casting a soft glow upon the ancient stones. Your path leads upward now, returning you to the living world above, to the hollow halls and the moonlit towers. Step by step, you ascend, your movements steady, your heart quiet as you climb. The air warms slightly, the earth releasing you gently from its protective cradle. The crypt fades into memory behind you, its stillness lingering in your chest like a gentle echo. The castle waits above, its walls ready to welcome you back, its corridors ready to guide you onward. You step once more into the wide storage hall, the pillars standing tall in their eternal vigil, the shadows stretching long across the stone. Your lantern's flame flickers faintly, casting soft circles of light. As you make your way back along the curving corridor, each step familiar, each turn comfortable beneath your steady tread. The stairwell rises ahead, leading you upward once more toward the halls where the air breathes more freely, where the wind still sings its quiet song through the broken arches and open windows. You climb slowly, savoring the steady rhythm of your ascent, feeling the life of the castle pulse gently around you. When you emerge at last into the grand hall above, the walls embrace you once more with their quiet strength. The wind hums faintly. The moonlight spills gently across the flagstones, and the world feels ancient, enduring, filled with the quiet persistence of stone that has watched generations pass like soft ripples across the surface of time. You cross to the wide archway that leads to the castle's central courtyard, your footsteps quiet, your presence unhurried. Beyond the arch, the night stretches wide, the stars scattered like soft lanterns across the sky, the moon resting high, its glow silvering the walls and pathways below. You step into the courtyard, the air fresh against your cheeks, the ground soft with moss and the gentle sprawl of wildflowers. The walls stand around you, protective yet welcoming, their rough stones softened by the brush of nature's patient hand. Vines creep along the edges, their leaves rustling quietly in the midnight breeze. Turning slowly, you take in the castle's silhouette, its towers rising like ancient guardians, its arches cradling stories untold, its courtyards and corridors winding through time's gentle embrace. Here, in the hush of the night, in the quiet rhythm of your footsteps, you feel the pulse of the past alive and steady, a comforting presence that anchors you to the timelessness of this forgotten place. Your lantern's flame flickers gently, your breath drifts softly in the cool air, and your heart rests easy beneath the quiet weight of ancient stone. The castle, ever patient, ever enduring, cradles you in its hollow embrace, and the night, with all its quiet wonder, stretches wide before you, calm and welcoming. And so you linger, unhurried, untroubled, beneath the whispering stars and the gentle watch of the castle walls, knowing that deeper paths still await, and that every stone holds another quiet story, waiting softly to be found. The wind drifts softly as you move across the old courtyard, your lantern casting a warm, flickering circle upon the stones that have weathered centuries of footsteps. Each step carries you deeper into the heart of the castle, where forgotten corners whisper their quiet stories to anyone patient enough to listen. Above, the sky remains clear, the moon hanging like a silver guardian, watching silently as you continue your unhurried journey. The courtyard is wide, its ground uneven beneath the quiet patchwork of moss and grass. To your left, an archway stands, half hidden behind a curtain of climbing ivy, its once sharp edges softened by time, its passage inviting. You draw near, fingers brushing along the delicate leaves, your lantern's glow illuminating the dark recess beyond. With a gentle push, you step through the archway, finding yourself upon a narrow stone path, its sides bordered by low walls, half crumbled into the earth. The air here carries a new scent, faint traces of herbs and earth, of growth reclaimed by nature's quiet persistence. You follow the path, letting your footsteps remain soft, your pace unhurried, allowing the world around you to unfold at its own rhythm. Ahead, the path broadens, opening into a secluded garden, its edges enclosed by tall walls, their upper stones hidden beneath a tangle of vines and wildflowers. The ground is blanketed with soft grass, and in the center rests a circular fountain, long silent, its stone basin cradling a small collection of rainwater that glimmers faintly beneath the moonlight. You pause, taking in the quiet beauty of this hidden haven, a space once tended by careful hands, where herbs grew in tidy rows, where flowers bloomed in the soft light of summer, where voices once rose in laughter and quiet conversation. Now, the garden dreams in silence, its order softened by time, its life continuing in gentler, wilder ways. Moving forward, you approach the fountain, its carved edges worn but still proud, its figures faded yet graceful. You lean close, watching. The water ripples softly in the gentle breeze, reflecting the shifting glow of your lantern and the distant shimmer of stars. Here, in this quiet space, the world seems to hold its breath, offering you a moment of peace untouched by the weight of history. Circling the fountain, you follow another narrow path that winds toward the far wall, where an old wooden door rests slightly ajar, its hinges strained but intact. You ease it open, the wood creaking softly as you step into a covered walkway, its roof supported by thick wooden beams, their surfaces smoothed by countless seasons of wind and rain. The corridor leads you along the outer edge of the garden, its walls adorned with faded mural scenes of harvest celebrations, of noble hunts, of quiet feasts beneath banners of gold and crimson. You trail your hand along the images, feeling the slight ridges of ancient paint. The quiet artistry that lingers even as color fades and edges blur at the end of the walkway. You find a short flight of steps descending to a sunken courtyard, its stones more intact, its corners protected from the encroaching wild. Here, the remnants of wooden benches rest beneath the shelter of sagging pergolas, their beams now draped in thick strands of ivy, their posts surrounded by soft clusters of forget-me-nots and creeping time. You wander through the sunken space, your steps light, your heart steady, breathing in the subtle scents of wild herbs and damp stone. Once, perhaps, this was a place of quiet retreat, a garden for contemplation. A space where lords and ladies escaped the bustle of the great hall, where weary knights set aside their swords to savor the gentle comfort of nature's embrace. Your lantern's glow catches on another doorway, half hidden behind a curtain of hanging moss, its arch low and narrow, inviting yet mysterious. You press forward, brushing the greenery aside, ducking beneath the threshold to emerge into another corridor, its ceiling lower, its air cooler and still scented with earth and growing things. The passage leads you deeper into the castles, forgotten spaces where nature's quiet reclamation wraps every stone in a tender embrace. Ferns line the walls, their fronds reaching curiously into the open air. Tiny flowers sprout from cracks in the floor, their delicate petals adding subtle color to the muted grays of ancient stone. As you continue, the sound of your footsteps softens, the ground beneath you shifting from stone to packed earth, from packed earth to soft moss. The walls begin to curve gently, guiding you in a wide arc that gradually lifts upward, leading you back toward the surface, toward the faint light of the waiting night. You emerge beneath a covered arch, stepping out into another courtyard, this one open to the sky, its walls lower, its ground more overgrown. The moon bathes the space in silver light, and the air carries a faint rustling, the gentle whisper of leaves swaying high above in the tangled branches of a forgotten orchard. Ancient apple trees rise from the earth, their trunks thick and gnarled, their branches heavy with wild growth. Some bear small hard fruit, untouched by human hand, left to ripen and fall in the quiet rhythm of the seasons. You step among them, feeling the soft give of grass beneath your boots, hearing the faint crunch of fallen twigs in last year's leaves. Here, the castle feels different, less a fortress, more a sanctuary, a living memory of quieter days when the clamor of armor gave way to the simplicity of earth and sky, to the patient tending of orchards and gardens. You pause beneath one of the tallest trees, resting your hand against its rough bark, feeling the steady strength that has endured beyond the rise and fall of banners, beyond the coming and going of distant rulers. Beyond the orchard, a low stone wall marks the edge of the castle grounds, its top crumbling in places, its base buried beneath moss and wildflowers. Beyond the wall, the land slopes gently into a wooded valley, where the silhouettes of tall pines rise like dark sentinels against the pale glow of the stars. You linger at the boundary, letting your gaze drift across the landscape, feeling the quiet pulse of the night around you, the steady rustle of wind through branches, the occasional call of a distant owl, the soft creak of wooden beams settling far behind you. The world beyond the castle stretches vast and patient, the rhythms of nature continuing unbroken, untamed. Turning back toward the ancient walls, you retrace your steps through the orchard, your lantern casting soft light that flickers through the shifting leaves that dances upon the stones, still standing proud amid the quiet growth. The castle breathes around you, not as a monument of cold history, but as a living echo of time's gentle passage. You pass again through the low corridors, through the covered walkways, your fingertips trailing along the walls, gathering the subtle traces of life once vibrant, now softly slumbering. The murals watch silently, their colors muted, their stories folded gently into the fabric of the night. Stepping back into the circular garden, the fountain greets you once more, its still waters reflecting the pale shimmer of moonlight, the slow dance of passing clouds. You pause, breathing deeply of the cool, herb-scented air, feeling the quiet strength of the old stones beneath your feet, the steady rhythm of the castle surrounding you like a calm, patient tide. The path leads you outward again, through the ivy-clad arch, back into the wide central courtyard, where the great towers rise like silent guardians, their stones silvered beneath the touch of the night sky. Your footsteps remain soft, your movements steady, your heart calmed by the quiet embrace of the ancient walls. As you cross the courtyard, the air shifts slightly, the breeze carrying a faint trace of wood smoke, a subtle hint of distant hearth. Fires of life still pulsing beyond the reach of crumbling stone. Somewhere beyond the hills, villages stir beneath the same moonlight, their quiet lives continuing, their own stories unfolding gently beneath the watch of the same stars. You pause beneath the shadow of the tallest tower, resting your hand upon the cool stone, feeling the quiet power that lingers within every weathered block, within every mortar joint, within every silent chamber and forgotten hall. The castle holds its secrets close, its stories whispered only to those who walk its empty paths, who listen closely to the hum of wind through broken windows, to the hush of leaves brushing old walls. And as you stand there, the wind soft in your ears, the lantern warm in your hand, you feel no loneliness, only peace, only the steady rhythm of a place, long patient, long enduring, waiting quietly for footsteps like yours to return. If only for a night, if only for a moment. You step forward once more, crossing the courtyard with quiet ease, your path leading back toward the northern halls, where doors stand half open, where stairways curve upward toward the highest rooms and outward toward the narrow battlements. The journey continues, the castle's quiet invitation, unfolding one chamber at a time, one forgotten path after another. The rhythm remains steady, the calm unwavering, as the old stone walls wrap gently around you, guiding your footsteps, soothing your thoughts, settling your spirit beneath the watchful hush of the ancient night. You step softly beneath the looming northern halls, where stone doorways yawn open and staircases curl upwards like winding rivers of time. The air is cooler here, touched by the breath of upper levels, where wind moves freely through broken shutters and missing tiles. Your lantern flickers patiently, its circle of warmth guiding your ascent. One measured step at a time, the staircase rises in a tight spiral, walls pressing close, each turn folding you deeper into the quiet heart of the tower. The stones beneath your boots are worn smooth from forgotten centuries of climbing feet soldiers, servants stewards all who once moved with urgency along these paths. But tonight, you move slowly, feeling each step beneath you, allowing your pace to match the steady rhythm of the ancient walls. The first landing greets you with a narrow doorway, its wood long vanished, leaving only an open frame that leads into a chamber cloaked in shadows. You step inside, letting the lantern's glow reach the far corners. Dust lies thick across the floorboards, and from the beams above hang the fragile remnants of tattered banners, their faded colors barely clinging to life. A narrow window allows a trickle of moonlight to spill through, illuminating the quiet hush that fills the room. You move to the window, resting your hand upon the cool stone sill, peering outward into the vast stretch of land beyond. The valley rolls beneath you, its low fields glimmering faintly beneath the stars, distant woods rising like dark islands in a sea of silver. Somewhere far off, a thin curl of smoke drifts into the sky, the quiet pulse of life far removed from the solitude of these high walls. Leaving the chamber, you return to the stairway, continuing your slow ascent, your lantern painting soft circles upon the curved stone. Higher you climb, the air growing thinner, touched by the cold breath of night seeping through narrow arrow slits and broken rafters. The hush deepens, the weight of the castle pressing softly around you. Not oppressive, but steady, grounding. The next level opens into a room larger, broader, with tall windows lining one wall, each pane of glass, long vanished, each frame now an open arch through which the wind hums gently, tugging at forgotten memories. You step carefully across cracked floorboards, your lantern reflecting upon the remnants of iron sconces, upon discarded bits of rusted chainmail, upon the scattered bones of chairs and tables that once bore witness to long-ago meals and quiet evening councils. Here, you sense the echoes of life most vividly, the low murmurs of strategy shared between nights, the soft laughter of servants tending to hearths, the quiet footsteps of those who once called these chambers home. Yet all that remains now is the calm silence, the gentle creak of shifting wood, the faint flutter of unseen wings far above in the rafters. Your fingers trail along the walls as you move slowly through the chamber, feeling the rough texture of ancient plaster, the coolness of stone that has endured far beyond the ambitions and fears of those who built it. A tapestry hangs in fragments near the far wall, its once vivid scene now a blur of threads, a ghost of artistry left to fade in the quiet light. The staircase calls again, urging you onward, higher still, toward the uppermost reaches of the tower. You heed its silent summons, stepping back into the winding curve of stone, your ascent, slow but sure. The hush of the castle, embracing you like a quiet cloak, at last. You reach the highest level, where a small door stands crooked on rusted hinges, its wood warped by rain and time. You press it open gently, the hinges complaining softly before allowing you passage into the open air. The battlements stretch before you, their low walls sturdy despite centuries of storm and sun, their surface bathed in the soft silver of moonlight. You step onto the ancient stones, your breath curling into the night, the wind brushing lightly against your skin, carrying with it the crisp scent of distant pines and cool earth. From this height, the world spreads vast and still, a living tapestry beneath a sky thick with stars. The castle's shape unfolds around you, towers rising like weathered sentinels, walls curling like protective arms around the inner courtyards and silent halls. The gardens below rest undisturbed, the orchard dreaming quietly, the fountains glinting faintly beneath the watching moon. You stand above it all, a solitary visitor to a kingdom of memory and stone. You cross the battlements, each step gentle, careful, your lantern casting long shadows that dance along the low parapets. You pause beneath a crumbling turret, its roof half collapsed, its inner chamber open to the elements. You peer inside, seeing little more than rubble and ivy. Nature's patient reclamation, softening every hard edge. Moving onward, you reach the northern edge of the tower, where the wall juts outward into a small lookout point. Its purpose forgotten, its stones still sturdy. You step out carefully, standing at the edge of the castle, peering across the lands where villages sleep, where streams wind their quiet way through meadows, where the world continues its gentle turning beneath the steady rhythm of time. Above, the stars glow brighter, unhindered by modern lights, their ancient patterns tracing stories known to kings and peasants alike. The great hunter stretches across the sky, his silent pursuit eternal. The seven sisters shimmer in quiet unity, distant, but watching. You lift your gaze, feeling the quiet connection to countless generations who have stood beneath these same stars, who have looked skyward with wonder, with hope, with quiet reflection. The wind rises slightly, brushing through your hair, stirring the edges of your cloak, humming softly through the gaps in the stones around you. You stand unbothered, calmed by the steady rhythm of the night, by the enduring peace of the ancient walls, by the patient quiet of a place forgotten by time but alive with memory. You begin your slow return, crossing the battlements with steady steps, passing beneath leaning archways, through doorways half swallowed by moss and lichen. The tower receives you gently once more, the winding staircase guiding your descent, the quiet hush growing warmer as you move closer to the heart of the castle. You pass the high chamber again, its windows whispering softly to the night. You pass the narrow landing where faded banners still cling stubbornly to life. Step by step, you return to the central courtyard, where the ground feels softer, the air more tempered. The stones beneath you sturdy and known. Your path shifts, now, guiding you eastward, toward a narrower hall, where torch sconces still cling to the walls, their metal frames rusted but steadfast. The corridor narrows, the ceiling dipping low, the hush deepening around you. Here, the air smells of old wood, of forgotten spices, of distant smoke trailing in from broken hearths. Ahead, a low archway marks the entrance to the servant quarters, a quieter corner of the castle where life once moved at a gentler pace, where daily labors unfolded in rhythmic routine, where laughter and song softened the harshness of fortress life. You step through the arch, your lantern's glow illuminating the compact corridor, revealing walls still lined with narrow shelves, with hooks now empty of cloaks and tools. The first chamber opens into a simple kitchen, its hearth blackened from years of fires long since extinguished. A heavy table rests in the center, one leg splintered, its surface worn smooth by countless meals prepared and shared. You move slowly around the room, fingers grazing the edges of forgotten cupboards, of stone sinks stained with age, of niches where jars and bowls once stood in tidy rows. Here too, the castle whispers its quiet stories of bread baked in early, mornings of stews stirred slowly over crackling flames, of simple joys found in the sharing of a warm meal within sturdy walls. The hush remains gentle, inviting you to linger, to listen, to breathe in the patient memories folded softly into the very air. Your steps continue, leading you past narrow sleeping chambers, where low wooden bunks sag beneath the weight of time, where once lively chatter has faded into silence. You walk through storage rooms lined with empty shelves, through small gathering spaces where old benches stand crooked, where the walls still carry the faintest traces of cheerful murals, of flowers painted in simple, joyful strokes. At the end of the hall, a door stands open, leading to a side courtyard, smaller than the grand central space, enclosed by lower walls, open to the tender touch of the sky. You step through, your breath easing as you stand beneath the open air once more, surrounded by the softened remains of simpler days. Above, the tower you just left rises into the sky, its silhouette bold against the glittering stars. Around you, the castle holds itself in quiet balance, stone and sky, memory and earth, silence and the gentle hum of night. You remain at its heart, a lone witness to its quiet endurance, a patient traveler welcomed into the slow rhythm of forgotten time. And as the breeze brushes softly against your cheeks, as the lantern's flame dances gently in your hand, you feel no need for haste. There is only calm, only the steady presence of stone that has withstood countless seasons, only the quiet song of wind through ancient halls, only the rhythm of footsteps following forgotten paths beneath the quiet, endless sky. You remain a moment longer in the courtyard, letting the cool hush of the forgotten castle rest around you. Above the tower you climbed stands proud, weathered yet enduring, a silent guardian beneath the endless sweep of the stars. You close your eyes, drawing a slow breath, allowing the quiet to settle deep within your chest. Time, here, is no longer a rush but a soft, measured flow. Steady as the ancient stones beneath your boots, your path turns gently toward the eastern walls, where a narrow gate leans tiredly beneath a sagging archway. Ivy climbs boldly up the crumbling stone, wrapping itself along the edges, threading tiny leaves into gaps where mortar has surrendered to age. You reach out, brushing your fingers along the rough surface, feeling the cool firmness beneath the soft green weave of nature, reclaiming its place. This gate leads beyond the courtyard, beyond the towers and halls you have explored, to the outer edges where the castle once reached, toward villages, toward travelers, toward the broader world. Tonight it waits for your quiet footsteps, offering one final journey through the winding heart of history before the world beyond welcomes you back. You step beneath the archway, your lantern casting its faithful circle of light, guiding you into a passage where the walls close in tighter, where the floor dips lower, where the air cools with the touch of earth and stone. Here, forgotten corridors whisper of storerooms once filled with grain, of barrels stacked high with salted meats, of shelves that held winter's stores in preparation for long, cold months. Your boots fall lightly upon the packed earth, your fingers trailing the curve of the wall, feeling the shift from smooth stone to crumbling brick, from the sharp lines of crafted masonry to the softened contours worn by time. You pass narrow doorways, their wooden frames bowed and broken, their iron hinges clinging stubbornly to the last shreds of purpose. You glimpse the hollowed-out remains of storage rooms, their treasures long since claimed by weather and wilderness, their emptiness echoing softly beneath your quiet breath. The corridor turns again, guiding you downward into a deeper passage, where the air thickens, touched by the ancient damp of earth pressed close. You hear it faintly now, the distant trickle of water, steady and calm, running through hidden veins beneath the castle's weight. You follow it, steps careful, lantern light bobbing gently ahead, until the narrow passage opens into a forgotten chamber carved into the hillside itself. Here, the spring once fed the castle, its waters pooling into a deep stone basin, its coolness refreshing even after countless years. The water moves gently, undisturbed, reflecting the glow of your lantern in soft ripples. You kneel beside it, trailing your fingers lightly across its surface, feeling the gentle chill, the timeless presence of something that has flowed beneath these walls long before you arrived, and will flow long after you have left. In this quiet place, the castle feels fully alive, not in the bustling clamor of soldiers or the laughter of feasts, but in the steady, enduring rhythm of earth and stone and water. In the patient way it remains standing beneath the stars, its silence welcoming, its solitude kind. Rising, you follow the passage as it curves once more, leading back toward the light, toward the soft breeze of the outer courtyard, where grass pushes through cracked stones, where wildflowers bloom in quiet rebellion against the weight of history. You step into the openness once more, standing beneath the towering walls that rise like forgotten cliffs around you. Beneath the sky, now glowing softly with the earliest hints of coming dawn, the stars begin their slow retreat, the deepest blues of night giving way to the softer grays of approaching morning. The castle stirs quietly, not with noise or motion, but with the gentle warmth of another day returning, with the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze, with the distant call of birds awakening in the branches above. Your steps lead you along the outer walls, through arches worn thin by centuries of passing feet, past stone benches that lean unevenly beneath the weight of moss and age. You reach the final gate, the great arch that once welcomed travelers, guarded by portcullis and heavy doors, now resting open, broken by time. Its threshold softened by creeping vines and scattered petals from wild blossoms growing untended. In the grass, you pause at this last gate, turning one final time to look upon the castle you have wandered, upon the towers that lean quietly against the morning sky, upon the walls that still hold their shape in the hush of dawn. The castle stands patient and peaceful, untouched by the haste of the world, a quiet sentinel resting in the arms of the hills, keeping its secrets, its stories, its memories tucked gently within its crumbling stones. The breeze carries the soft scents of wildflowers, of distant pines, of earth warmed gently by the rising light. The first edges of the sun touch the tallest tower, casting a golden sheen upon the weathered stone, awakening the castle to a new day. You step beyond the gate, your boots moving now upon the narrow path that leads down the hill, winding gently through the meadow where dew glistens on soft blades of grass, where the hush of morning wraps itself around you like a quiet blessing. The world stretches wide before you, fields unfolding, distant villages just beginning to stir, the quiet hum of life waiting patiently in the valley below, and still behind you, the castle remains a timeless refuge of calm, of history, of quiet resilience, standing proud against the sky. You carry its memory with you, not as a place forgotten, but as a gentle rhythm that lingers in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the calm patience you now hold within your chest. Each step away feels lighter, not with loss, but with quiet gratitude. The castle has shared its story with you, its halls and chambers unfolding their secrets, its walls offering shelter to your wandering spirit, its silence soothing the busy chatter of the world beyond. You follow the winding path down the hillside, the sky brightening slowly above, the golden light spreading softly across the land. Birds begin their morning song, a gentle chorus rising from the treetops, mingling with the quiet sigh of the breeze through the grass. The village rooftops glimmer faintly in the distance, smoke rising from early hearth fires, life beginning anew beneath the calm gaze of the ancient stones far above. Your journey is quiet now, your pace unhurried, your heart lightened by the calm that lingers from the castle walls. You pass beneath the gentle arch of bending branches, through patches of wildflowers nodding sleepily in the dawn, along a narrow stream that runs clear and cool beside the path, singing softly of journeys continued. And when you finally glance back, the castle is a silhouette upon the hill, its towers rising like quiet dreams against the morning sky, its halls resting peacefully, its gates standing open, not in ruin, but in quiet welcome. You smile softly, your breath deep and easy, your footsteps steady upon the path that leads onward. The road unfolds before you, simple and calm, carrying with it the gentle rhythm of ancient stones, of forgotten halls, of whispered winds through crumbling towers. And as you walk, the world grows warmer. The day unfolds quietly, and the memory of the castle walks with you, patient, enduring, peaceful like a soft song you carry within, steady and calm, wherever the road may lead.